Shalom, peace and blessings to all the brothers and sisters out there sincerely doing this work of the Lord and making their bodies a living sacrifice for Christ's sake. I wanted to do a brief lesson or breakdown on the sign of the cross, the history of it being a pagan symbol and an antichrist symbol. Exodus chapter 20, start at verse 4. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Right? So one of the commandments is that we should not make any graven images, right? Verse 5, thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me. Right? So we should not bow ourselves down to any of these graven images that are made neither. Right? So right there is already a strike on what we see predominantly in the world for people who claim or profess themselves to be followers of Christ. Right? Christ taught us to keep the commandments of the Most High God. And in that comes with not worshiping or bowing down to any graven images. Leviticus chapter 26, verse 1. Ye shall make you no idols nor graven image, neither rear you up a standing image, neither shall you set up an image of stone in your land to bow down unto it. For I am the Lord your God. You see this happen all the time. You see people praying down to images. You see in specific places how they have statues of these false images of Christ, which again is a topic for another day. But look at places like Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, where they have a huge image of Christ, quote unquote, out there, again, a false image of Christ. Some of these colossal church buildings and temples where they have false images and graven images on the top of them. Even if you look in some churches, you have images of, quote unquote, Mary, these false saints and things of that nature, nothing that has to do with the scriptures whatsoever, right? And you have people who actually bow down and pray to these images as if an actual image or a statue can hold any power. Isaiah chapter 44, verse 9, they that make a graven image are all of them vanity, and their delectable things shall not profit. And they are their own witnesses, they see not nor know that they may be ashamed, right? So these graven images are vain. They don't mean anything. Vanity means that it doesn't mean anything, right? You have people that wear crosses, for example, right? I used to wear a cross, and some people think that that actually gives them some form of protection. How is a graven image, an idol, an object going to give you any sense of power, right? For a God that is spiritual, how is an item going to give you that, right? Verse 10, who hath formed a god or molten a graven image that is profitable for nothing, right? Who has created these Jesus pieces, these crosses, iced out, gold crosses with these fake images of Christ on them, right? That's profitable for nothing because one, the Most High doesn't even want you to do that. But then to actually give that image, that object some power, that's even more asinine. Verse 11, behold, all his fellows shall be ashamed. And the workmen, they are of men. Let them all be gathered together. Let them stand up. Yet they shall fear and they shall be ashamed together. So the people that are wearing these, the people that are creating them and making all this profit off of them, in the end, unless they repent from that, they're going to all be ashamed together, right? And there's people that wear this right now who may be hearing this video who don't know that it's wrong. But humbly through the Most High God, you have to pray to get that discernment. And I'm just being used to edify and teach some people now. I used to wear a cross, but again, once I came to the understanding of the scriptures and reading it, I found out that it was something that I should not do. Even going into the history of the cross, this really has nothing to do with being a follower of Christ, right? You have to remember the ones who adopted the cross were the Romans, all right? And under a man, Constantine, the emperor, there was a war that took place at the Milvian Bridge. It's called the Milvian Bridge Battle, where basically Constantine had a vision that he saw a cross in the sky. And that was a sign that he would conquer, he would win the victory. But you have to remember, Constantine was a pagan. He was monotheistic, so he believed in multiple gods. This is before he even, quote unquote, switched to Christianity, if you will, right? So he was a pagan. So that symbol of the cross is something that dates back all the way to the time of the Egyptians and whatnot. You know, the sign of the Ankh, which again has reverence to the gods Osiris, Isis. You know, this has nothing to do with Christ at all. So this is something that was taken by the Roman pagans and indoctrinated into the Bible. And the pagan ideologies were just mixed in, and it's confused people to think that it actually has something to do with Christ. Here's an excerpt out of the book, The Two Babylons. All right, and it breaks down a little bit of the history of the cross. It says right here, the magic virtues attributed to the so-called sign of the cross, the worship bestowed on it never came from a source, right? It never came from Christ is what it's saying. The same sign of the cross that Rome now worship was used in the Babylonian mysteries, which were secret societies that's still being pushed today through Masonry and what have you, through the Catholic Church, was applied by paganism to the same magic purposes, was honored with the same honors. That which is now called the Christian cross was originally no Christian emblem at all, right? Because this has nothing to do with the scriptures, and it still doesn't to this day, but many people are deceived, like the Bible said would happen. But was the mystic Tau of the Chaldeans and Egyptians the true original form of the letter T, the initial of the name of Tammuz, which in Hebrew, radically the same as ancient Chaldee, was found on coins. That mystic Tau was marked in baptism on the foreheads of those initiated in the mysteries and was used in every variety of way as a most sacred symbol, right? So this symbol dates back to the Egyptians, to the Chaldeans, right? And has nothing to do with Christ whatsoever. The mystic Tau, as a symbol of great divinity, was called the sign of life. It was used as an amulet over the heart. And the same thing that the popes do today is a tradition that's been carried from the ancient time of these monotheistic pagan worshipers, right? That symbol of the cross is something that they wore. It covered down to the heart, which is why you see these huge crosses that the popes wear now, things of that nature. Micah chapter 5, verse 13. Thy graven images also will I cut off, and thy standing images out of the midst of thee, and thou shalt no more worship the work of thine hands, right? Because the Most High is going to end up destroying all that. Anyone that wants to follow those ways, that has these delusions, you know, they're going to be destroyed with those graven images and put to shame, really, because it has nothing to do with Christ. It has nothing to do with the Most High. Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 18. What profiteth the graven image that the maker thereof hath graven it? The molten image and a teacher of lies, that the maker of his work trusteth therein, to make dumb idols, right? So what profit do these graven images have, whether it be these statues, these golden chains, Jesus pieces iced out, all this nonsense, right? The Lord said, and the teacher of lies, right? People that actually are taught and misled that these things have any power, that the maker of his work trusteth therein, right? So people that are making this think they're doing a good thing, and the people that are following, that are deceived, think that they're doing a good thing too by wearing it. You know, people in Catholicism that are crossing themselves, right, at the churches, or even quote unquote Christians. That's a topic for another day too, how the Most High is not in these church buildings, but the Christian church was birthed by the Roman Catholic Church. But Lord willing, that may be a topic I do another time. I just wanted to do a quick breakdown, a quick lesson on the symbol and the sign of the cross, and how it has no relevance to Yahushua Mashiach, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. With that, I say all glory and honor and praise to the Most High Power, Yahweh, in the name of his Son, Yahushua Mashiach. Peace and blessing all the brothers and sisters out there doing this sincere work of the Lord. Shalom.